Many believers reject the label atheist and choose to identify as agnostic, but is that really accurate? Well, let's look at the definitions. Belief: an acceptance that a proposition is true or that something exists. Theism: belief in a god or gods or other supernatural controlling force for the universe. Gnostic: relating to knowledge. Prefix a, denoting an absence or lack of the term prefixed. Example: asexual, lacking sexuality. An excellent example of this prefix is when used with the word moral. Something can be moral, a good act or person, like saving a child from drowning; immoral, a bad act or person, like a murderer; and amoral, an act or being lacking in morality, like a machine that has no concept of good or bad. The prefix a doesn't mean anti, against, or opposite of, it just means the lack of. Atheism: lacking in a belief in God or gods. Agnostic: lacking in knowledge, or the position that gods are unknowable. But what is the question being asked here? The question is, do you believe, not do you know? If your answer to the question, do you believe in a god or gods, isn't yes, you're an atheist. You are not convinced of their existence, regardless of your degree of certainty. Belief is binary. You are either convinced of something or you're not. There is no nebulous middle ground. Saying, I don't know, means you aren't convinced, but it also shows that you're either not understanding the question or you're deliberately trying to evade the question. Nobody is asking you what you know. You are being asked what you believe. If you're asked the question, do you believe in gods, and answer, I'm agnostic, that's like someone asking you, what is your lucky number, and you answering blue. You can be an agnostic atheist or agnostic theist, meaning you believe or don't believe, but aren't sure or don't claim to know. But you can't just be agnostic on the subject of belief. You are just changing the subject. But what about someone in transition? Someone going from belief to disbelief or vice versa? Isn't there a period where they really don't know what they believe? This is an example of the sliding scale of certainty. You go from being very certain, maybe even claiming knowledge, then over some period of time losing certainty, possibly eventually gaining certainty in a new position or remaining in a state of uncertainty, as this process can last for seconds or years. What you need to remember here is that belief isn't about certainty. You could be 99% certain something is true or only 1%, but you still believe it's true. When your certainty in any given position becomes zero, you no longer accept it as true. You no longer believe. An analogy I like to use here is a light switch. It is an analog device controlling a binary state. When the switch is up, the light is on. When the switch is down, the light is off. But if you move the switch down 10% of the way, the light is still on. And you can continue to gradually move the switch down with the light remaining on until you reach that critical point, and then the light is off. So why do so many non-believers reject the label atheist? Well, there are several factors. 1. Ignorance. Many people just don't know what the words actually mean, partly due to apologists poisoning the well by lying about what atheism actually is and what it actually means, making claims like atheists claim to know there is no God, and atheists hate God, and atheists have no morals, and of course the infamous atheism is just another religion. It is also common for people to conflate atheism with anti-theism, even though many atheists have no problem with religion and many theists hate religion. 2. Fear. In many places around the world, you can face discrimination and even death for being an atheist. The term agnostic was first coined by T.H. Huxley in 1869 at a meeting of the Metaphysical Society to avoid his arguments supporting biological evolution being painted by creationists as an attack on Christianity by a God-hater. He attempted, unsuccessfully, to skirt around the issue of religion when in reality, religion was unavoidably the issue. 3. Wolf in sheep's clothing. A tactic employed by some believers, like apologists or evangelists, is to lie and claim they are agnostics and they are only exploring or being skeptics, so they can rope unsuspecting people into arguments where they can ambush them with pre-planned gotcha questions. A gotcha question is one where the answer gives the questioner the admission they want. For example, have you stopped beating your wife? Doesn't matter if you say yes or no, you're admitting to abuse. 4. Pseudo-intellectualism and false superiority. Some people, like contrarians, feel the need to set themselves apart from everyone else to feel intellectually or morally superior, constantly playing the devil's advocate in any discussion on any topic to attempt to paint everyone else as biased and dogmatic while pretending to be open-minded. So what do you do when someone calls themselves an agnostic? Well, for people using the word out of ignorance, explain to them what the words actually mean, or just show them this video. For people using it out of fear, try to keep in mind not everyone has the luxury of free speech or a free society, and they will generally admit their atheism in private. For evangelists, treat them as you would any other evangelist and call them out on their fraud so people can see they are just con men. For pseudo-intellectual contrarians, just walk away. Anyone whose only gimmick is playing word games so they can pretend they are better than everyone else just isn't worth anyone's time or effort. Though do feel free to point out that they are full of it as you're walking away for the benefit of any audience they might be trying to dazzle with their crap.